Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. Are you a label reader when it comes to the foods you buy? When it comes to nutrition labels, I'm going to share how to quickly scan them so you can make the best decision for your health and well-being. Stay tuned. Hey, my friend Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, The Power of Possibility, Passion, and Purpose. And we're going to talk about nutrition facts and nutrition labels and how to quickly scan them so when you're at the store, you can make the best decision possible. I don't know if you do that or not. A lot of times we kind of just gloss over a couple of things, and there may be some hidden things that are maybe impacting your waistline or how you feel or your energy. And so I've just got maybe I think 7 or 8 tips on things to look for as you go through and look. You know, I'm holding up a can here of organic tomato sauce, and I can quickly scan it. But I find myself often at the grocery store when it's something I haven't bought before and I don't know the contents. I'm always fumbling for my glasses to quick scan it. Now that print is really small, and my eyes over the years, they require a little bit more magnification. So I find myself doing that. So I don't know if that's you or not, or if you've just kind of looked at a couple of key areas and maybe have glossed over a couple of others. So I think these are kind of the key things to look for. For one thing, it's to go right to the bottom of the label and just scan the ingredients list. What's in there? If it's a bunch of things that you maybe can't pronounce, or you're seeing like red dye number 75 or deoxyribonucleic, I don't know, I'm making up names here. But a lot of times when you can't pronounce or they're words you don't understand, you're probably seeing hidden sugars, artificial sweeteners, dyes, unwanted stuff in there that the body really naturally doesn't recognize and needs to figure out what to do with it when you put it in your body. A lot of times it gets stored as flat as fat, or it becomes you become inflamed and bloated, and so that's some of the fallout. So that's tip number 1. Number 2 is to watch the serving sizes. Every number on the nutrition label. So I'm looking at this one here, and while I know we're going to use the whole can for a recipe, there's 7 servings in this can. I'm holding a 15-ounce can up. That's like about just barely a trace over 2 ounces per serving, based on what the calorie count that they've put in there. So serving sizes can be unrealistic, and to tell you the truth, I think within the past year, they've asked manufacturers or required manufacturers to update it to give the serving sizes more of a reality check, because just to reflect people's typical eating habits. So a 12-ounce can of soda or a 20-ounce bottle of soda, they aren't going to say the 20 ounces is 2 servings. They're going to say it's 1 serving, because people will typically drink the whole thing, and the calories will reflect that, which is good, because I think as a country or as a world, many of us just look at the entire container, we have it, and we don't realize the number of calories we're consuming, because we looked at it and went, oh, it's only 130 calories. But what does that really mean? Like ice cream, I think that got upgraded to I think it's 3 servings per container for whatever it is, as opposed to 4. I'm guessing it's probably those single serving sort of. It's not single serving, but I know the ice cream got updated and a few other things, just for an example there. So serving sizes is another thing to look for. Try to avoid the products with sugar as much as possible. If you can avoid eating the packaged stuff that contains sugar, and the fewer grams of sugar, the better. I think the sugar is our own worst enemy. I think it's the biggest cause of weight gain and obesity. Added sugars, they're also getting singled out in the label world. I believe I don't have a product here as an example, but I believe there's a part on the label that says added sugars that are in there. So something to pay attention to. If you can get that down to 0, you're doing pretty well. I know, but like a banana has a lot of sugar in it. It might have more sugar in it than like Fruity Pebbles or something like that. But you know which one's healthier, right? So just a word of caution. I think the dietary guidelines, caution against getting more than 10% of your daily calories from added sugars. And so the new labeling, that's why I said to screen those ingredients, because they're getting really sneaky at putting things in. So at least those will be singled out, and you can do your research there. Check the carb quality. If a packaged product contains carbs, just look to see where those carbs are coming from. Are they from whole fruits and vegetables, whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, steel-cut oats, rice, rice flour, or just is it plain old sugar? Where are the carbs coming from? Are they refined sources? So if they're the refined stuff, you probably want to avoid them. But take a look at that. You've got to educate yourself. Choose foods with more protein is a good thing to look for in when you're kind of scanning that label. And when comparing those packaged products, go for the ones with a higher protein count, provided that protein isn't coming from a bunch of refined carbs or sodium, sugar, unwanted ingredients, stuff like that. Go for the natural fiber. That's another great way. I know that there's been some calculation with the carbohydrates that get offset with the amount of fiber that's in there. But if you can choose things that have at least 3 grams a serving, ideally that fiber coming from intact grains, or at least whole wheat, that is going to do your body good. But fiber might be put in there with some of those words that you might stumble across, like maltodextrin, pectin. So those are just a couple of thoughts to look for in research as you're scanning. Note the sodium. That's what I'm looking for as I'm going through and looking at the nutrition label. I'm seeing this tomato sauce. Now remember, I was saying it was just about little over 2 ounces. In that 2 ounces is 290 milligrams of sodium. So the entire can, let's round that up to 300. 300 times 7. So we're talking about 2,100 milligrams a day. If you can shoot for having your total daily count to aim for less than 1,500 a day, you're gonna do well, and that's why I always recommend drinking a lot of water if you have higher sodium foods. But it's really easy to look at a label like I have here and say organic tomato sauce. It's healthy for me, and then scan the label and see how many servings, how much sodium. Do a quick mathematical calculation and go, oh my gosh, if there's 2 of us sharing this, that's quite a bit of sodium in there. So you've got to do the labels. The other thing is to just note where, beware of trans fats. You probably have already been clued into that, but if you're seeing the word partially hydrogenated on there, it's a dead giveaway that trans fat is in there. So eating clean and as healthy as possible is going to make your waistline happier, improve your mood, and I would expect your overall energy and focus to improve. And speaking of focus and productivity, be sure to download my Morning Success Habits cheat sheet for 14 incredible ways to boost your energy, clarity, happiness, focus, and productivity. All you got to do is head over to putyourselffirst.com/morning success habits. All one word there. So it's putyourselffirst.com/morning success habits. You can download that free cheat sheet. I'll put the link in the show notes as well. I hope you have an awesome week. I hope this was valuable to you, and please share this episode with somebody that you know can benefit. And I would really, really appreciate it, and I think other people would, because this podcast would reach more people, if you just popped in your podcast app, did a quick search for Power Blast Podcast, and gave a quick rating. And it'd be really crazy cool if you gave an honest review. You would absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.